Michigan. And for the 97th straight time, they'll be greeted by a crowd larger than 100,000 here in Ann Arbor. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger. The environment in Ann Arbor, it's a setting for a national championship. And for 4 straight times now, Notre Dame has slapped Michigan in the face. The 15 seniors on this Wolverine team are so determined to do something about it. Take Eric Anderson, their ringleader on defense. He said he started thinking about the Fighting Irish after last year's heartbreak in South Bend. Or their guard, Matt Elliott, he says it's the last time for me to get a helmet on a Notre Dame linebacker. Dick Vermeil, I can't remember being around a senior class that is so committed to winning one game as these Michigan youngsters.
Well, Brent, you mentioned Michigan's senior commitment. I really believe the Notre Dame defensive coaches would like to develop this same attitude defensively as well, but they're only starting 3 seniors today. It was a major problem for them last week. This young defense made so many mistakes. In fact, I couldn't believe it. With Indiana last week. Over 400 yards of total offense, gave up 27 points. In fact, Lou Holtz this week, now believe this or not, spent the entire week coaching defense and delegated the responsibility for running the offense today, calling the plays to Coach Tom Beck. A major concession.
All right, coming into this game, Michigan favored by a field goal. Back with the opening kickoff in a moment. We are back. Michigan won the flip and elected to defer, meaning that they will take the ball to start the second half, and so they will kick it off here in Michigan Stadium. John Albertson, number 27, will put the ball on the tee, and back deep for the Fighting Irish. No Rocket this season. No Rocket Ishmael, but number 9, Jeff Burris. And this is one area where Coach Lou Holtz hopes to develop a game breaker, but he doesn't have quite the speed that he had a year ago with the Rocket. No team has beaten Michigan 5 straight since Purdue back in 1962 through 66. And a lot of Notre Dame fans have traveled here from throughout the Midwest. You'll see the green sprinkled throughout this crowd.
Brent, I think one of the important things for both teams today, with the emotion as it is on both sides of the line of scrimmage, is that they control and direct it to helping each team do their best and play their best, rather than committing the stupid mistakes by not controlling that kind of intensity.
Albertson's kick is short, and Culver at the 9-yard line backs up to field it. Culver is out to the 20, where he is tackled. And Rick Meyer, the young man who ran for 3 touchdowns for Notre Dame against Indiana, and he also completed 11 passes for 2 for a touchdown. So the junior will be under center. He's more mature physically than he was a year ago. He's developing into one of the best all-around quarterbacks in the United States. And he'll hand off to Culver on first down, who's out to the 24-yard line. Behind Meyer, it's the Detroit connection. Both fullback Jerome Bettis and Rodney Culver are out of Detroit. Lake Dawson, Tony Smith, and the tight end Derek Brown. The offensive line is a veteran group. Gene McGuire, the center, moved there from tackle. He's the anchor. He's one of the better ones in the country this year. So it is 2nd and 7 for Meyer and the Irish. Culver is split out to the right. One running back. And Meyer's first pass overthrown and intercepted by Dotton at midfield. Michigan with the game's first turnover. To the 42, and here come the Wolverines.
You'll see Griggs, number 14, coming off, and Dotton playing him, and Dotton will turn him loose inside there. See, he's going deep, reading back in the zone coverage. They tried to hit the seam right there to the man coming down the slot. Poor throw, poor decision. He actually misread the coverage.
So Lance Dotton, who picked off 1 and returned it 50 yards for a touchdown. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. And Elvis Gerback hands off to his fullback, Bernie Leggett. So here is Elvis Gerback. As they go without a huddle on the field, it'll be Gerback passing on the plays to his team. It is not really a hurry-up offense that Elvis directs. They have taken their full complement. And I know that we have been wondering whether or not they will put a little hurry up into it. But for the time being, Gerbeck patiently looks at second down, and it is the fullback again, thundering to the middle of that defense.
Great block at the point of attack by Joe Kokozo, number 68. Opened a nice hole up inside.
That offensive backfield. Ricky Powers, who rushed for 176 yards. Yale Van Dyne gets a start because Derek Alexander out with the knee injury. The offensive line, so big and so talented. Number 75, Greg Skrepanek, 325 pounds. Take a look at him. He just went down in his stance.
This is a new formation they did not use last week. 2 tight ends. They're going to try to balance up that offset front.
And Powers with his first carry. McDonald running him out of bounds on the far side with Tom Carter. Devon McDonald, number 45, is the linebacker right there, who has a brother, a twin brother, who plays for Pittsburgh. And when they played the Fighting Irish a year ago, he made a dozen tackles.
This formation has 2 tight ends. The reason they're doing that is to force the defense to balance up and not overshift toward the strength of the formation. They didn't use this last week.
They go back into the eye with Leggett set in front of Powers. And Gerbeck with great protection hits the underneath man Van Dyne. And Van Dyne gets to the 12-yard line before he's brought down by Tom Carter. He was wide open against this Notre Dame defense that Lou Holtz spent all week trying to bring back together. He claims it's going to be a very good defense, but right now it's very young with some key changes. Bryant Young moves to the nose. Troy Ridgely will start at the defensive line. Demetrius DeBose, number 31, is the ringleader. In the secondary, Rod Smith, number 21, was their leading tackler last week against Indiana. A 15-yard pass play. Gerbeck to Van Dyne. Ball at the Notre Dame 15. Powers tripped up as he gets to the 10-yard line by Pete Bursich, number 47, who is starting at that inside linebacking spot.
If Powers had recognized that hole just a little quicker. Now look, you're looking as a linebacker, ladies and gentlemen. See that hole to the inside? He didn't recognize it quite quick enough, and Bursich reaches over the top on that cut block by Bernie Leggett, the fullback.
2nd and 7 for Michigan. They're at the Irish 10-yard line.
It looks like blitz. It looks like they're going to come after him, Brent. Here they come.
Powers is stuffed at the 15 for a 5-yard loss. McDonald was in there along with Greg Davis, 26. They brought the strong safety along with the linebackers, and Bryant Young, 97, muscled his way in also.
Gary Darnell, the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame, told us that when they got inside that 20-yard line, they have confidence that they can cover one-on-one. Therefore, they'll release some linebackers and get after them with a blitz because they can't rely on pressure from their down 4.
Make it 3rd and 11. The ball at the Notre Dame 13. An extra defensive back in for the Irish, expecting the Wolverines to put it up, and they will. Gerbeck straight back over the middle, and again it is Van Dyne down at the 5-yard line. A decision for Gary Moeller. He's short of the first down by a couple of yards here in the early going.
I think
it is 4th down.
Go ahead and kick it. Go ahead and kick it, Brent.
He is J.D. Carlson, number 38, trotting on to the field.
The angle is more acute down here with them taking 4 foot 10 inches out of the goalpost and leaving the hash marks at the same position. So they will unbalance the field goal formation to the wide field, kicking the ball actually right over their right guard or right tackle area in this formation.
Number 14 is Ken Solomon. He'll be the holder. Everett is the snapper. On its way. J.D. Carlson nails the field goal to put Michigan up 3-0.
This is control. Go ahead.
The interception by Lance Doughton against Rick Meyer of Notre Dame allows Michigan to move in for a field goal on their first possession. John Albertson will kick it off, and a new deep man for the Irish. Number 1 is Mike Miller, replacing Bettis for this return at the 5-yard line.
Well, Lou Holtz said the number 1 thing we don't want to do in the ball game is turn it over. And what do they do on the first pass? Turn it over. I never been around Lou Holtz where I found him so relaxed, Brent, and under control. Do you think it's maybe because he wasn't thinking about calling the plays offensively today?
First time in his life that he's been able to eat the grass here at Ann Arbor. You don't want to eat that
and keep it down.
Well, you don't want to eat that artificial turf.
Yeah, I know. I think he would have talked football with us last night beyond midnight.
Well, he is so happy that his son, Kevin Holtz, was released from the hospital and is here watching this game today. That's a burden relieved from him for the time being. Miller fielding the ball at the 10, works his way out to the 23-yard line, where Meyer and the Irish will try it again. This is 2 weeks in a row that Dotton has done the job defensively. He is the lone remaining starter, and here he was last week in Boston College.
Big play, interception. He's playing back again in zone like he was doing in his interception in this ball game. Again, showing his high school running back abilities as the defensive back here, returning it all the way for 6 points.
The Irish with 2 running backs, and this is Rodney Culver getting daylight on that left side.
Jerome Bettis, the big fullback that we saw block so efficiently last week, led that play and nailed the linebacker and gave the running back time to get up through that hole. Boy, is he a physical blocker at 5'11", 247 pounds.
Pittsburgh enjoying a fine start after a disappointing season a year ago. And Duke, big over Rutgers, surprising some observers. Second down. Here is Culver, and the middle of the defense would not yield. Hutchinson was in there. And Tony Brooks, let's check that. Tony Brooks is now in as the tailback.
You're going to see a nice high shot of offensive-defensive line play here. Watch the defensive linemen stay low, butt the offensive people. See him stay down underneath the pads, work inside out. Outside linebacker Townsend take on the kick-out block. No place to run. I think Holtz would be making a mistake if he allowed that first interception to influence signal calling in this first quarter early. Let the guy throw the ball.
He's going to on third down. Goes long. A diving reception for a first down. Tony Smith at the 45.
You're going to see it up here. He's got tight man-to-man coverage. He's going to bring him in down and take him to the corner. Good call. You've got to show confidence as a coach in your good quarterback after an interception. See him take him in there playing man-to-man on that side. There it is right there. And Lloyd Carr, the defensive coordinator for Michigan, was concerned that they would go after the inexperienced corner.
Throwing away from Dotton that time, and this is the
nice linebacking.
So they bring the fullback, Jerome Bettis, who is 5'11", 247 pounds, out of Detroit, number 6. He's a young man that Michigan tried unsuccessfully to recruit. And Rodney Culver, his teammate, is one of the big reasons why Bettis decided to go down to South Bend and play for the Irish. And right now, behind him is Tony Brooks, who a week ago against Indiana rushed for 61 yards. Meyer brings that option when he gets to the 45. And Meyer to the 36-yard line. He broke one big for a touchdown last week.
What this is really not a true option play, in the sense that they block everybody that's supposed to take the quarterback. See, they block him. It's really like a quarterback sweep, and if someone gets to the quarterback, then they're going to delay pitch it out. It's a well-conceived offensive play.
Now the 2 tight ends. Irv Smith joins up with Derek Brown. 2 extremely talented tight ends. They'll run, and Michigan was ready. That's Steve Morrison, one of the inside linebackers, number 36.
Lloyd Carr, the defensive coordinator for Michigan, really likes this young sophomore linebacker, and he's a true sophomore, played in 3 games as a freshman. He is going to take over where the Eric Anderson linebacker, number 37, all Big Ten guy, graduates this year. This kid will take over as their leader.
Rodney Culver returns for 4th and 1, and the Irish are going at the Michigan 36-yard line. 4th and 1. Bettis for the first down.
You can see that Lou Holtz enters the play calling sequence in those situations. No way can an offensive coordinator or offensive coach in the press box make that call without it going through the head coach. He makes that decision.
Ball at the Michigan 35-yard line. Next week, Lou Holtz and the Fighting Irish take on Michigan State. And Central Michigan is shocking the Spartans right up the road at East Lansing. 20-3 in the fourth. That would be the stunner, along with Memphis State having already upset USC. Culver dances for daylight, and he was sealed up, and Eric Anderson, number 37, in on that stop.
A good discipline on defense. Last week they ran that play very well against Indiana, and it's really a design cutback play out of the I formation, and the defense has to be disciplined to stay at home on the backside of that play.
Anderson has led the Wolverine defense in tackles for 3 straight years. If he does it again this year, he'll be the first linebacker to have accomplished that. He's out of Glenview, Illinois, played at Glenbrook South High School. Like a lot of the young men on this field, especially the seniors, he hopes to get a crack at the NFL, and no doubt he will. Now on 2nd and 10, Meyer off a deep drop, sets a screen high, and Culver could not pull it down. Incomplete.
Great screen recognition by Steve Morrison, the linebacker. They wanted to run a screen pass. They were in man-to-man coverage. Now you'll note the fake deep to the backfield. Now note the fake. Quarterback will come back. He wants to run a screen. You'll see a linebacker. Now see the tailback in the middle of your screen. He wants to come out. See the lineman coming out. He didn't have a man to throw to. There's Morrison, 36, chasing him down.
3rd and 10 for Notre Dame. They trail it by a field goal. Their second possession of the day. Trips to the left, and Meyer is sacked at the 45 by Chris Hutchinson, number 97.
Chris Hutchinson came around the outside to the left. See, quarterback feeling confident. Very good offensive line in front of him. Doesn't think he's going to get sacked. Taking his time, reading the coverage. And here comes the intense, ever-moving Chris Hutchinson, number 97. All-American, Big Ten academic student. Fine football player, fine student.
Hutchinson's sack forces Notre Dame into a punting situation. And one of the great punters in the country now, Craig Hentrich.
I don't believe I've ever seen a college punter punt the ball any better than he was doing in the pregame warm-up. The big thing here,
you know, they have switched to Jim Sexton to try and drop it short. They didn't want the long punt, so they did not use Hentrich. And the ball is returned to the 21-yard line by Desmond Howard, where the Wolverines will put it in play. So that punter was Sexton. We'll be right back. Well, this is Lou Holtz's 6th year at Notre Dame, and he has been devastating to the Big Ten. Lost his first 2 games against the conference, and now he has reeled off 14 in a row. The last team to beat him was Michigan State. That was the same year that Michigan defeated Holtz. The only time that the Wolverines have downed him. Right now, those other losses, incidentally, came when he was the head coach over at Minnesota. But at Notre Dame, he has suffered only 1 setback at the hands of the Wolverines. So it is Elvis Gerback with 1 running back and 3 wide receivers. Ricky Powers is the lone running back behind Gerback. Powers running to his left, and he gets to the 24 before Anthony Peterson, number 49, tackles him for Notre Dame.
You know, Lou Holtz said he would like Michigan to come out and show a bunch of new things, because that would be a demonstration to his team that they didn't think they could just line them up and play basic football and beat us. Now, that's psychological warfare with your team, isn't it, in preparation?
On 2nd down, it's Powers again, cutting back for a first down. Nifty run out to the 34.
Well, good blocking over there by Rob Dougherty and Joe Kokozo over on the right side. See, those big guys come off the ball and they stretch you. Now watch them come off at angles, see, and they kick you and they stretch you and stretch you, and all of a sudden they create the gap back inside the running play.
9 yards for Powers, who's got it again. Getting outside to the right with a penalty marker down for the first time here this afternoon. Powers runs to the 41-yard line.
Gary Darnell said, holding. Gary Darnell said, the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame, that we are keeping it very simple today. We made too many adjustment mistakes last week with our young defense. We're keeping it very simple. And Darnell said what he's going to do, instead of always taking them on physically with his young defensive line,
Penalty spot foul.
He'll do some slanting with him as well.
That referee is Tom Quinn of the Big Ten. He's a veteran. Baylor with a good running game, staying close to Colorado, and Nebraska big over Earl Bruce and Colorado State today. Ohio State ahead, trying to run their record to 2-0.
There's Big Skrepenek, many considered the top offensive lineman. If he's not the top one, he's the biggest one at 325 pounds, 6'8".
Still growing. Now 1st and 22. And Powers got a couple.
See, they're getting in a trip set, meaning 3 receivers to one side and trying to create a soft corner with those receivers running off and running up behind it. What you really need, though, is a great block by your tight end, and didn't get it that time. The tempo of their no huddle, Brent, I really feel is picking up a little bit quicker than last week's.
2nd and 20. Gerbeck drops it into the hands of Powers for the completion. Well, let's go to New York and check in with our new papa, Roger Twybull. His wife gave birth to a daughter last night. Roger, congratulations, and take it away.
Oh, thanks a lot, Brent. I appreciate it. Baylor and Colorado at Folsom Field early in the 2nd quarter. Darian Hagan back. He'll find Sean Brown, who makes the catch down around his knees. He goes 26 yards for the touchdown. That put Colorado on top 7-3, and they lead it there in the 3rd quarter. Let's go back to Brent.
All right, Roger, thank you. Michigan leading here by a field goal. Bernie Leggett into the backfield. Gerbeck puts it in Howard's hands. That's his first catch of the game. He's at the 40, but short of the 1st down. Michigan will punt.
A wide receiver in a slot position, hooking up in the zone, experienced receiver, should have enough awareness to what he needs for that 1st down. He could have hooked up deeper and picked up that 1st down. The defense did not force him to hook it up.
Eddie Ascona will punt, and Miller is back deep to return. Ascona rotated punting with Chris Stapleton last week. He averaged better than 48 yards, and he booms this one, driving Miller to the 16-yard line. Miller brought down on the 20, and there is a penalty flag thrown by the side judge. Corwin Brown making a stop.
Tackle for Michigan by number 20, Corwin Brown. The flag of the play.
As they're making the decision here on the penalty, Corwin Brown is really the inspirational leader of that defensive secondary, even though he's flipping. Even though he's only a junior, but he's a guy with a lot of enthusiasm, and there's no substitute for players that are enthusiastic and can back it up with ability.
We have less than 3 minutes to go in the 1st quarter. The Irish have already committed a couple of mistakes. They threw an interception, which cost them a field goal. Now on a punt return, they are guilty of clipping.
Just what the coaches say we don't want to do, and they're doing it.
So we'll take a break and come right back. Michigan 3, Notre Dame nothing. In Ann Arbor. Also joining us today is Cheryl Miller. And Cheryl, we've got some seniors on this Michigan team that are fired up.
Well, Brent, you talked about the commitment of the seniors. They don't want to be remembered as the class that couldn't beat Notre Dame. Now, up to this point, the senior class has won 80% of their games, 3 straight Big Ten titles, and have shared Rose Bowl and Gator Bowl victories. But they have never beaten Notre Dame. So, Brent, these seniors know this is their last chance to get that Notre Dame monkey off their backs.
It is that, and they lead it by a field goal right now. Bettis is the lone running back in this formation. He is down hard, and we get a shocking final. Central Michigan 20, Michigan State 3. You know, congratulations to George Perlis and the staff for even scheduling that game. There is nothing to gain when you play a team from the Mid-America Conference and you're out of the Big Ten in your own state, baby.
You know, and mentally you set yourself up for a whipping.
And they got one. So Central Michigan, the champions of the Mid-American last year, with a huge upset of Michigan State. Meyer off a fake, rolling, hits his tight end out to the 20. Here's Derek Brown. And Lance Dotton stopping him there short of the 1st down.
These kind of actions are really difficult for the defense. Well, when you tackle a tight end that weighs 250 pounds, it hurts. Now you'll see this big tight end. There's play action away from Brown on this play, creating flow on the defense. Now there's Brown, number 86, the left side of your screen. Now flow goes inside. See, now he delays, gets the linebackers going. Now the quarterback's rolling out to him. Now, this is just not a normal tight end. He is a 6'6", 252-pound senior, rated one of the top 10 football players in college football.
Replacing him is number 7 in that secondary from Michigan. The young man, Alfie Birch, now steps in.
Alfie Birch is a converted running back. Now they have 2 inexperienced corners, relatively speaking, on the field at the same time. Oh, Doughton's coming back on.
So Doughton returns. He was not tended to on. If you're wondering about this, the trainers did not come on the field. So it's okay for Doughton to go back. He doesn't have to miss a play. Jerome Bettis, the fullback, and Ryan Mahalko also into that full house backfield with Rodney Culver. So they're going to go for it. This is their goal line offensive look. It is the basic T formation.
That's the first formation I ran in high school when I was a player.
And the quarterback keeps it.
Yeah. The only variation of a straight T you see anymore is like a wishbone set, but they use this real well in the goal line area. They run the option off it, the fullback off it, and the halfback lead.
Well, we've got a busy Saturday coming your way next Saturday. We're going to bring you 3 games at 3:30 Eastern, regionalized coverage, and that's just the beginning of all the fun, because we'll be back at night at 8 Eastern time. BYU against Penn State, Washington, Nebraska, Georgia, Alabama. So a doubleheader next Saturday with regionalized coverage. We've got a doubleheader today, don't forget. Here is Bettis, who busts out. There's the 250-pound fullback. Out to the 34-yard line before Brown can bring him down. What a load here.
You're going to see here the old counter gap. They were in a balanced formation, 2 tight ends. They doubled down. They bought the backside guard, kicked out in the tackle, and then they gave the ball to the 247-pound fullback. Now watch the lineman to the left of your screen. There's Taylor 75 kicking out. The big tackle pulling through there, and boy, you cannot arm tackle Bettis.
He just ripped away from Brian Townsend, didn't he, on that play? 1st and 10 for Notre Dame. Ball on their 34-yard line. Culver back in the game, and he's stopped for a loss by Tony Henderson.
Tony Henderson came off the nose guard. To get off that quickly, came off his nose guard on the center. Chances are he had a slant in that direction. Movement on snap, charging that way, hit the gap, makes the play.
Eric Anderson will relay the defense.
I think Lou has got to get some throwing on 1st down with this guy. You know, loosen him up a little bit on that 1st down. Come with that play action. Not 2nd and 10.
This is 2nd and 10. They show blitz. It's picked up. Now Meyer gets it off, but he was under pressure, incomplete.
See, that's so obvious to the defense.
Let's go to New York now for an update. Roger.
Thank you very much, Brent. Louisville at Ohio State. The Buckeyes led 10-0 at halftime. This is less than a minute to go. 4th down. The Cardinals trail by 8. They go for it, and that would do it. Ohio State wins it, even though they committed over 115 yards in penalties. Let's go back to Brent.
So, Roger, Ohio State's record 2-0 on the season, and for John Cooper, he's on the bubble as far as coaching futures are concerned, but he's off to a real good start in Columbus, having won 2 first 2. Now Meyer rolling out to his left, fires high and incomplete, and Meyer misfiring here today. These aerial shots from the Spirit of Akron are being brought to you by the Goodyear Service Stores.
Meyer maybe not quite showing the poise and confidence that he displayed last week. He looks just like a veteran quarterback. Yes, he's a junior. He's going to play longer, another year to go. But he ought to make that play. Guy's wide open, get it in his hands.
Now Craig Hentrick comes in. Desmond Howard awaits him. This is strength against strength. As good a punter as there is in the nation against perhaps the top return man. And Desmond's going to let it roll out of bounds. Round 1 to Hentrick. Out of bounds at the 18-yard line. It'll be Michigan's ball, a 48-yard punt. Talked about today being doubleheader Saturday with Penn State and USC, with really a fine team. Walter Smith now into the Michigan offensive lineup as a wide receiver. Ricky Powers getting the bulk of the carries, makes it to the 19-yard line, and Demetrius DeBose, number 31, credited with the tackle. He's the emotional leader of this Irish defense.
He made 10 tackles last week and had that great pass interception and returned it for a touchdown for 49 yards. Out of Seattle, Washington, Bishop O'Day High School.
The final seconds here in the opening quarter. Michigan kicked a field goal after intercepting a pass on its opening drive. Since then, both offenses have stalled. And what did we expect today? A high-scoring game. So what do we get? 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. It's always that way. We'll come right back to Ann Arbor. Second quarter here in Ann Arbor with Michigan leading Notre Dame by a field goal, 3-0. And you think the theme so far has been the defensive performance by the Irish?
Oh, yeah, they're playing so much better than they did last week. Last week, I'm sure the coaches had to be embarrassed with some of the things they did. Not so much physically wrong, just mentally wrong. Lining up wrong against varied formations and slanting the wrong way. All things young defensive people would do.
Well, Ricky Powers was a single running back most of the first quarter. Leggett back in at fullback, the basic eye. There was movement down there in the line. And Gerbeck trying to hit Powers, and the ball is deflected. But you saw the penalty flags come down, and you noticed the movement in the middle of that offensive line. I don't think the defensive man ever made contact.
I don't think so either.
We have offside, wide ball on the defense.
Must have made contact.
Well, yes, and he could have been in the neutral zone on the
yeah.
On the snap that time,
snap.
so he didn't get back in time.
Let's take a look and see if we can see. Right side of your screen, there's the ball
Yeah,
in the neutral zone. Yeah, he's in the neutral zone. He
Everett
didn't
quickly
get back.
snapped the ball when he caught him in the neutral zone. Veteran center had him trapped and wasn't going to give him enough time to get back. So now it is second down for Michigan. This is Leggett, the fullback, into the arms of Junior Bryant. The numbers from the first quarter, we had only one field goal, and that was kicked by Michigan.
Well, I think really the big thing is the one turnover in the first pass interception you see right there to the left of your screen. But that note also 70 total yards of offense for Michigan to 59 to Notre Dame. Still close.
How important is time of possession?
Well, I think time and possession is critical, but I really think percentage of big plays per offensive snap is even more important.
3rd and 1. Gerbeck using a longer count.
Oh, nice play.
Stepped into the arms of Bryant again, number 95.
You know, Junior Bryant was benched and did not start this ball game. Bryant Young was moved in there. He's playing like he was upset about it, and he should be upset about it. That's a good job.
See where they spot that ball. It is a first down. Forward progress got the first down before Bryant closed in on him.
Bryant is a junior out of Omaha, Nebraska. Defensive player of the year in that state.
Tyrone Wheatley checks into the game. Number 6. Brings that great speed that he demonstrated in high school football here in Michigan. Where's number 6? He's the tailback. They fake the draw to him. Gerbeck fires complete to the 33-yard line.
Desmond Howard was wide open coming across on a square in pattern right there, and he laid it off. He didn't catch him, his vision downfield. Boy, it would have been a nice game.
Yale Van Dyne, who again is filling in for the injured Derek Alexander. And off what we've seen so far, the Wolverines miss Alexander's presence on the field. It's a little bit easier to close in on Howard when you haven't got Alexander and his speed on the other side. And watching the secondaries operate here today, or Notre Dame's against Michigan specifically, Desmond Howard has not been as wide open as he is when Alexander's here. Wheatley hammered at the 34. Demetrius DeBose, number 31.
Two real nice defensive plays. First by Eric Jones, the defensive right tackle, and then Demetrius DeBose scraping. Now follow the action to the left side of your screen. You'll see Jones there. He gets up in there, racks him. He doesn't get his hands. Here comes the inside-out play of Demetrius DeBose. Really good, disciplined football. So much better than last week. One game makes such a difference in a young football player playing his first game to next week playing his second game.
3rd down, and now they will try to get the ball in the hands of the Magic Man, Bernie Leggett. Gerbeck Stands in the pocket and delivers a first down strike. Nice play that time. Walter Smith coming underneath, and Gerbeck demonstrating all the poise he needs. But Cheryl, he does not have Alexander here today.
Well, you're talking about a guy who would like to be in this game. Derek Alexander injured his knee against Boston College last weekend. He had to go through orthoscopic surgery. He'll have surgery next week, and hopefully he said he plans on applying for medical red shirt.
Cheryl, thank you. It is 1st and 10. Ball is on the 43-yard line. Gerbeck is perfect in the passing department. He is 6 of 6 for 53 yards. They said he was a tough youngster, and he hung in that pocket that time to deliver that first down. And now, using Powers, he gets to midfield.
See, they were in a 2 tight end formation. They came off on man-to-man blocking, and Powers didn't run blindly into the line of scrimmage, even though he is very quick. He kept a good base. He picked his hole. He saw the cutback, bounced back up inside there, makes the game.
Troy Ridgely heading off to the Notre Dame sideline. Barry Alvarez, a former Notre Dame assistant coach who started under Hayden Fry at Iowa, now trying to put the show on the road at Wisconsin. And if you watch their game films, that defense is getting better and better. It just needs some better people. Gerbeck drops it off now to his tight end. Number 83 is Dave Diebold. And Diebold for a Michigan first down.
It's the exact same play that Notre Dame ran earlier to their fine tight end. Action away, tight end slow blocks, meaning he just blocks and holds and then releases when the linebacker loses attention on him, comes out to the flat. He actually had the option of going downfield a little further with the ball.
Folks out on the West Coast can look for an improved California Bear team this year. I know, Dick, you and I certainly look forward to watching Russell White and getting one of the California games this year. 1st and 10 now for Michigan. Gerbeck handed off to Powers, and Powers finding daylight to the 30 for a first down behind that offensive line.
No penetration at the point of attack. They moved the line of scrimmage, but what they really did is get the block backside. Now you'll watch Lotham behind here, see him running up. Now watch him make the cutback backside there. There's the hole. Good sustained blocking on the backside. He's able to hit that crease. Here's another look at it. Again, starting to offensive right, cutting back to the left side. Defense over pursues.
John Ellison, number 19, is flanked out to the left of Gerbeck. And now that physical prowess of the Michigan offensive line starting to exert itself. Leggett slammed down at the 30. Good defense that time. DeBose along with McDonald. Boy, these two guys. 45, McDonald. He had to overcome a heartbreak this summer. One of his younger brothers was killed in a violent gang-related incident back in New Jersey. And he missed a lot of training, and he's come back. Another twin brother plays up at Pittsburgh, and he has shaken all that off now to stand tall for this Notre Dame defense. It is 2nd down and 9 against McDonald. The toss, the end around. Here comes the magic man. Howard's got it at the 25. He cuts in. Howard will cut again and score. Touchdown, Michigan.
Young Notre Dame defense, excited about their play so far. Over pursuing, deep toss. Here comes the reverse. Over pursuit on that defense. Now watch there. Watch the wide receiver. Gets a cut down block right there. Good moving right there. Doherty downfield. A big offensive tackle gets the lead block, and he takes it on in for the score. Young defensive team, excited to get after that sweep. Over pursue, break the discipline backside, allow the reverse to be executed.
Solomon puts it down, and J.D. Carlson makes it 10-0. And Desmond Howard is off to a spectacular start this season. That is the 5th touchdown that he has scored in 2 games. A 29-yard touchdown run by Desmond Howard, his first rushing touchdown of the year. He has returned a kickoff for a touchdown. He has caught 3 passes for touchdowns. Now he has run 1 in, and he has served notice on all those who vote for the Heisman Trophy that he's indeed a serious candidate. This is Miller for Notre Dame at the 20-yard line. still on his feet and down at the 28.
There are two things that have to happen to run a reverse successfully. The defense has to cooperate here and get in pursuit. And then secondly, you got to get a peel back wall block backside. Now watch the defense pursue. Here they come. Flanagan 44, Demetrius 31. Now they see the reverse. There's the peel back block. Now he gets a nice lead block downfield by Dougherty, number 7, and that puts him in the end zone for the score.
Jerome Bettis, the lone running back for Notre Dame. Last year they were forced to come from behind at home. Bettis hammers to the 30-yard line, and Sylvester Stanley, the nose man, credited with the stop.
See, that's what I was talking about, Brent, when you talked about ball control and time of possession. It is important, but it's more important to run a higher percentage of big plays per offensive snap. You'll beat a ball control team if you can do that.
Tony Brooks checks in as the tailback. He's behind Bettis. Meyer brings it down the line, and wide open is Derek Brown. Brown's wide open and busts free at midfield. Brown to the 25. Eric Anderson hustling back, saved a touchdown, and that is the most talented tight end in college football today.
You're going to see right here, they're going to pull the guard. They're going to put the fullback in here. He's going to come down and run the option, and the tight end is going to release right there as the defense plays run. See, here they go. Oh, they did. That's the backside guard that pulled. Here he is, number 74, Jerko. There it is, right in that seam.
Brooks to the 20-yard line. So let's talk about Derek Brown, number 86. He's a young man whom Jimmy Johnson thought for sure was going to come to Miami and play for the Hurricanes because he grew up in that area. Lou Holtz was delighted when he said he was going to come to South Bend. Yet for the most part of his career, he has been a blocking tight end and not a pass receiver. Now he will need Derek Brown and Irv Smith, the other tight end, followed by Brooks. Michigan ball as Brooks turns it over. Another Irish mistake.
That fumble was created in the exchange. It wasn't caused by the defense. More often than not on that play, the quarterback is a little bit late on the reverse pivot. Let's see what's happening here. It's tight. That was a good handoff. Maybe a little tight with his forward arm. Take another look. The right side of your screen, you'll see Brooks right there. It just drops out. Never had the football.
And there was the senior determination of one Eric Anderson, number 37, who would not be denied the recovery. 1st and 10 for Michigan. Their players were huddled over on the side with head coach Gary Moeller, and now Elvis Gerbeck brings him on the field, and the young man who just recovered the fumble.
Had a nice visit with him yesterday talking about this ball game, and it's amazing, right, the hate they have for Notre Dame.
So Brooks coughs it up. They've turned the ball over here twice in the first half.
Nice play.
Powers is slammed down by Devon McDonald again, number 45.
No, you mentioned Ricardo, his brother, this plays linebacker for Pittsburgh. He's rated in the top 100 football players coming up for the draft this next year. A real quality football player.
Both teams with a lot of pro prospects on the field that will be eligible for the draft. Tyrone Wheatley, the tailback. 3 wide receivers. Gerbeck sends it to Wheatley on the screen. Wheatley with breakaway speed, short of the first down, out to the 29. We talked about the pro prospects. Let's take a look at how they are graded right now. Derek Brown is the number 1 pro prospect at Notre Dame. But notice that everyone on the Irish list is an offensive starter except Rodney Smith, who is a cornerback. Now on Michigan, that is not the case. Greg Skrepanek, their top-rated prospect, but look at the 4 defensive players there. So a lot more experience on the defensive side of the ball as far as Michigan is concerned. Gerbeck firing to Howard, and Howard for the first down out to the 38.
Very unusual 3rd and 1.5 yard to go play. give the appearance that you're going to run that short yardage run, then come out and throw it to a receiver out in the perimeter. You'll know. Now watch him fake the run. See, everyone's playing run. He comes back and throws the quick out pattern here. He gets the block from the wide receiver right there, Ellison, and moves it up for the first down.
You know that Rick Meyer might be playing behind center for Michigan today instead of Elvis Gerbeck, except for one Monday night football game, and we're going to tell you that story here as the first half unfolds. Bo Schembechler, watching back in our studio, remembers, and Ricky powers out to the 49 for a 1st and 10. Here's a young man Bo recruited out of Akron, Ohio.
USA Today Parade Magazine All-American coming out of high school, ran for over 2,000 yards, 19 touchdowns as a senior. That's at least 6 touchdowns more than you scored as a senior.
You got that right. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. They lead Notre Dame by 10. Walter Smith.
Run the ball to the right.
Inside receiver.
Run the ball to the right.
You can see no one is covering the tight end. Leggett bounces off the first defender and gets to the 45 of Notre Dame.
Now it appeared to me from up here that they made one of their formation adjustment mistakes with their down linemen that they made many of last week. Now maybe they were supposed to do that. I don't know what they're being coached to do, but it appeared to be a mistake to me.
You think Bo is back in our studio with Roger cheering right now?
Oh, huh? Yeah, you can imagine. Huh?
Hey, folks, remember now, all you Notre Dame fans, remember now, we had Ara Parsegan in the booth for a number of years, so it is only fair that Michigan gets the final word today from the studio. Objective? Yeah, you bet, Bo. 2nd down and 5 now. Here's Powers. Big cut for a 1st down. Nifty cut. Greg Davis finally brings him down.
Again, cut back running, good base blocking, man-to-man inside. See Everett 51, they're just walling him off inside. Good block by Kokozo inside there, number 68, walling him off. Gets that little crack in there. A linebacker has to get into that hole.
On the last 2 drives, it has been the physical play of this offensive line that is starting to exert itself. Elliott, Everett, and Kokozo in the middle of this unit in particular are starting to stand very big in here. Gerbeck with a neat fake under pressure, gets it off. It's Howard! A diving catch!
He dropped it.
He dropped it at the goal line. What an effort by Howard.
Notre Dame came up with a 46 Buddy Ryan defense this time, shut off the run. They had the thing they wanted to call there. Good call, play action pass. Blitz coming from the backside, had the one-on-one coverage. He was flushed out there. Now watch the effort. He goes to the ball. It bounces out when it hits the turf.
That's the first incompleted pass thrown by Gerbeck this afternoon. He is 9 of 10. Tyrone Wheatley, the tailback. The Notre Dame 37-yard line. And Wheatley took on Bursich that time before he's brought down.
Can't say enough about a fullback that will block you. Bernie Leggett, number 40, high school student body president, outstanding student here, blocking his way for an education. He went through there and he nailed a linebacker. It was a 3-point pin.
3rd down and 5 for Michigan. Thelman Malvo, one of the wide receivers. He's the freshman out of Beaumont, Texas. John Ellison is on the inside. Walter Smith is off to Gerbeck's right. Gerbeck has been moving the chains on 3rd down. Has protection and throws, but that one is short to Ellison. Let's see where he spotted it. They gave Michigan a real good spot.
They gave him a Michigan spot on that one.
Whoa, did they give him a good spot. 1st down for the Wolverines.
Lou Holtz won't like that one, but you can bet that Gary Moeller will like that one. Look how cool and controlled Lou Holtz is in contrast to years past. It's got to be the fact that he's relieved some of the pressure game day and put some responsibilities on other offensive coaches. It's got to help you.
Ricky Powers, the tailback. Howard is the inside receiver off to Gerbeck's left. And Gerbeck with great time and a misread by perhaps the wide receiver. Ellison not pleased with how he ran the pattern on the outside that time.
He threw that away on purpose. Good defense. The defense had rolled over there, meaning they went over and doubled that side of the formation. Therefore, he saw it, and he didn't have an alternate receiver. He just threw it out of bounds. You don't want to take a sack as you move it into that goal line territory.
Now, his mother was not a big Elvis Presley fan. They're Yugoslavian folks, and Elvis a somewhat common Croatian name. And I suppose you could look at Michigan as maybe being a vowel or two short of a national championship when you look at Elvis Gerbeck as he goes back to work there. 2nd down and 10. Gerbeck standing in the middle and delivering to Howard, and good hands, huh?
He did a nice job on that. And over on the right side, if he would have looked to the right of his formation, he had single coverage, 1-on-1. John Ellison was out there all alone. They had gone over again to the field and played pass defense.
So Howard, who scored the only touchdown in this game so far, last week put 4 on the board for the Wolverines. And timeout being called by the Notre Dame defensive team. So the Irish defenders call a timeout. DeVos will come over and huddle with Holtz. We'll take a break and come right back. Roll to the Goodyear blimp today, Dr. Jim Maloney. He's a USC graduate, and I'm sure he'd rather be in the Los Angeles Coliseum tonight for that Penn State game. Keith Jackson and Bob Brucey will bring you that one at 9 Eastern time here on ABC, the home of college football. Lou Holtz and Notre Dame. They return to South Bend next week to take on Michigan State. 3:09 left in the first half, and the Irish are being shut out by Michigan 10-0. Ricky Powers in for this 3rd and 4. 4 of 6 on these 3rd downs. Smith going in motion. Gerbeck has another one. This is Leggett, the fullback. He's to the 12-yard line, and a 1st and 10. DeVos making the stop for the Irish.
What happened on that? Notre Dame ran the blitz. Notre Dame ran the blitz with their people, and they didn't account for the back. Now, here's the back. He'll come out of the backfield into here. They're bringing people, but nobody picks up the back coming out. Here comes Leggett. Now, see, here comes the 2 outside linebackers. Here comes the outside weak side corner. No one picking him up. A breakdown in discipline, breakdown in responsibility.
One thing about going without a huddle, the defense always has to be ready. 1st and 10. Powers sweeping out to the left. Leggett could not get his man down, and McDonald making the hit there.
Excellent defense of stringing the play out by Devon McDonald. He wouldn't allow him to turn up, yet he didn't pursue so hard that they could cut back up underneath him. Good job of playing that strong side linebacker position.
That's a loss of 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 14. An additional wide receiver comes into the game, so it'll be Smith and Howard. Howard will be out to Gerbeck's right.
He's audibling.
Powers, touchdown Michigan. That is the center, Steve Everett, who is injured on the play and down at the 14-yard line as we take a look at the play.
It's a deep draw type handoff. The fullback laid through the hole. He couldn't find anybody to block. There he's still running down. He didn't block anybody until he got 10 yards downfield. Take another look at it. Leggett was leading through the holes. Now see Leggett to the left side of your screen. There's the draw. Now he gets pinned, and now Everett to the right side of your screen got pinned back. See 51 right there? Got his feet caught up underneath him.
Well, right after the extra point attempt, remember Everett is the man who has to snap it. I suppose they could move Matt Elliott back over to that spot. But to go back to a story that involves the Notre Dame quarterback Rick Meyer, who grew up about 25 minutes from the campus down in South Bend, but whose parents went to school at Eastern Michigan. Rick's folks both graduated from Eastern Michigan, and his hero was Jim Harbaugh, who was playing quarterback at Michigan and then was drafted by the Chicago Bears. So Bo Schembechler went down to his home, and this is what Dan Dierdorf had to say.
And there have been a lot of outstanding quarterbacks at Michigan, just none of them have really gone on to stellar careers in the NFL. People like Rick Leach, Bob Timberlake, Don Moorhead, a lot of them can play, they just didn't play in the NFL.
And with that, Bo Schembechler reached over and said, Rick, we can change all that.
And the next day, he said a hitman for Dierdorf.
Can you imagine getting done in by a Michigan man on that play? And that's how Notre Dame came to have Rick Meyer at the control. We'll come right back. To be taken off the field here on a golf cart, and we can check this injury again. Dick, you said he was bent back on this play.
You'll see here he comes off. He's in pass protection. He turns over and ricochets off. Now he goes up and makes contact with Bursic and gets knocked back where his feet were pinned back behind him. Hard to say.
They might have met helmet to helmet. It is possible. It happened earlier. Bursic got his helmet up into him on that one play that you were showing. That's where the impact came, was up high. So they're not taking any precaution here with the young man.
You know, he broke his left foot last year and missed 5 games and was only able to start 4. And he really is the leader of the offensive line. He's sitting up now, which is a very good sign. But when you talk to Gary Moeller about Skrepnek, the All-American tackle, he always focuses the attention on Steve Everett, number 51, and Matt Elliott, number 69, and Joe Kokozo as really the heart of the offensive line.
Well, there was a lot of blood there as he's being tended to. And while we get an opportunity, let's take a look at the Notre Dame campus in South Bend, Indiana.
Notre Dame began 150 years ago, and its people still talk about the same things: inquiry, belief, and community.
Many people have the idea of the university, the purpose is just the acquisition and transmission of knowledge. But from my point of view, especially at a university like Notre Dame, we're trying to inspire the students to incorporate that knowledge into a lively worldview, into a way of perceiving the world, a way of acting in the world.
Well, Steve Everett being helped off the field here with 1:49 left in the first half. It was a scoring play. Michigan still has not attempted the extra point. They are shutting out Notre Dame 16-0. There are some options here in the offensive line. Mark Elliott, the younger brother of Matt, could, for example, be the long snapper, which apparently is what the coaching staff has opted for. It's interesting, Dick, that I got such a nice letter from their father. I didn't realize it, but their father was a classmate of mine at Northwestern.
And he still talks to you?
Oh, yeah. So let's hope that we get good news from Steve Everett. There's no question that there was some bleeding in the facial area, and when he took the wallop, something might have been cut or something down, you know, but I don't want to speculate. We'll get word from Cheryl down on the field. So this is the first college play now for Mark Elliott. And what a high-pressure play. He's got to come back and deliver the long snap.
The one thing he can't do is allow the excitement to snap it too hard when your holder is not used to getting that hard snap. That was a little high, but it was good enough.
Solon puts it down. Carlson adds the extra point. So he's kicked a field goal and 2 extra points. And Michigan leads Notre Dame. And young Elliott gets the job done. Nice going. Well, Monday night, Dick Vermeil, you gave us the Washington Redskins last week. I'm sure you knew it was going to be that close, although you said the Cowboys were coming back. How about this one, Kansas City and Houston?
Well, you know, Houston got after Kansas City really big last year, and there's no way that Kansas City is going to forget that now. I understand that Devon Sherry and Albert Lewis are injured. Albert Lewis may not play. That could be a negative, but I anticipated it being a much closer, intense football game this time.
Dick, let's quickly go down to Cheryl Miller, who found out what was wrong with Everett. Cheryl?
Well, Brendan, as you can see, it was a lot of blood on the field. Steve Everett, they said right now it's a dental injury, but they're sending him to the hospital. He didn't look like he was in very good condition, and I'm sure he's doubtful for the return to the game.
Thank you, Cheryl. And that was that impact up high that we saw in that one picture when his helmet was knocked askew and indeed could have cut something inside the mouth. At any rate, Jeff Burris is back as the return man.
You know, there is a rule that you wear the mouthpiece. And hopefully he had his mouthpiece in place. Sometimes kids spit them out, you know.
Albertson, and it's a short kickoff. Culver out to the 35-yard line. Well, remember, Notre Dame had the ball going in at the Michigan 20-yard line. Let's not forget that. They were down by 10. They fumbled. Eric Anderson recovered, and the Wolverines drove 80 yards for a touchdown against Lou Holtz to make it 17-0.
And the first field goal was generated after intercepting a pass. So turnovers are killing them so far.
And now Willie Clark, number 32, will get the call at running back. And off the delay, he's spectacular on the outside. Gets to the Michigan 45-yard line, and Corwin Brown brings him down.
The eye draw. Now, as you watch Willie Clark run this draw, realize this. He is the fastest man on the Notre Dame team. See, here it is. He's going to find the hole back inside. He runs a 4.2940. And ladies and gentlemen, that's flying. And you can see he can also make people miss as well.
Culver replaces him after that 19-yard run. Meyer hit on the release into the hands of Brown, who gets to the 40-yard line. Number 86 is about to become a featured performer here this afternoon as the Irish are trying to dig out from a 17-0 hole.
Well, Coach Beck, the running back coach, is calling the offense today, said that they were going to bring these tight ends into the offense more than they have been doing it, and it's, hey, they're doing it.
Holtz and the Irish use their second timeout. So we'll take a break. 1:20. Michigan 17, Notre Dame nothing. And remember that big one coming your way Monday. He was shaken up on that last completion to Derek Brown. He has 1:20 to work with here. On the roll to the left, complete and out of bounds at the 26-yard line. Tony Smith, number 83, the receiver.
Alfie Birch, the corner, number 7, made a terrible fundamental mistake in tackling. When you come up to make a tackle on a receiver, you better have your body in control. And if anything, tackle him high and get him out of bounds. Don't lunge at him. You lunge at a good receiver out there, he's going to put it down in the end zone. You see what I'm talking about on this play. Now watch it. He makes a miss right. He comes up not in control, lunging.
That draw play again with Clark, and he moves for daylight. He got all there was to get out of that run, making his way to the 24-yard line of Michigan.
You can see he shows that breaking ability and reads fronts pretty good, but what he was doing is actually spending too much time running right and left and not working upfield as he sees that cutback.
Only one timeout remaining for Notre Dame. It's down by 17. Meyer sprinting to the right. Good decision. Out of bounds. Good decision. That was Chris Hutchinson in hot pursuit of the Notre Dame quarterback.
This guy, when you talk to the defensive coaches about their defense, they start the conversation with Chris Hutchinson. They say when he's healthy, he's had back problems in the past. He missed 4 games last year, but when he's healthy, he is their premier defensive football player.
You know, we can only speculate that Dotton was shaken up earlier in the game, and that's the reason why they have Birch over there at that corner. But Notre Dame very aware that number 7 is over at the left corner right now, and not the veteran number 22, Lance Dotton. They have gone to work on Birch. Lake Dawson is split out in that direction. He's bringing Dawson down for that new screenplay that everybody likes. Bringing a wide receiver down to the inside, and he battles his way to the Michigan 3-yard line. That has become the new darling of play callers.
Last year, Ishmael averaged about 50 yards a crack on this. He'll come in here like this, catch the screen, the tight end will go kick out, and then the lineman, remember, lineman can go downfield on a screen. Here they come. Now watch him come right down. The lineman goes, he's crossed the line of scrimmage. There he goes, and he has to be behind the line of scrimmage when he catches that ball. Explosive football play. Can you imagine the Rocket having averaged over 50 yards a completion with that play?
A timeout has been called by Gary Moeller's defensive team. And I want to remind everybody that coming up at halftime, we got something special with you. Roger Twyble, the new papa, will have the grandpapa with him. Bo Schembechler will be in our studio. He'll have his insights on what's going on out here at Ann Arbor today. And how about that Houston-Miami game? I'm sure most of you watched it on Thursday night. Dennis Erickson, some of his friends are out on that coaching staff at Eastern Washington. You better believe there was a small school out of the Pacific Northwest that enjoyed every moment of that game in the Orange Bowl. Now, what about Lou Holtz being behind by 17 points here?
I'll tell you what, if I were an athletic director at a university and I want to bring in a coach at halftime, to have him coach my team properly at halftime, make the adjustment, and then get him ready to play that second half and improve my opportunities to win, I think I'd hire Lou Holtz. Wouldn't you?
Last year, what was he, down by 10 in the fourth quarter?
He scored 14.
Yeah.
And I think what this kind of a game does, too, is it brings him back into play calling, because he's always been given credit and respect by his peers of being a great game day play caller.
I'll tell you what, you take the coach and I'll get to draft the players. All right, Notre Dame with the ball at the Michigan 3-yard line, trying to get on the scoreboard. Only one timeout left for Notre Dame. Irv Smith and Derek Brown are the two tight ends. That full house backfield for the Irish. Meyer keeps it on the roll. Throws for Brown, incomplete. And Birch stayed right with the tight end that time, but it was the pressure up front. Martin Davis, number 86, who got the job done that time.
He just would not allow the ball to be thrown flat enough to be completed. He got his hand in his face. He gets good play action. He's going to come out all by himself. See, he makes the fake. He keeps now Davis holding on the left side of the screen. Good discipline. He gets the pressure, gets his hands up, makes him throw the ball higher than he wants to.
Ryan Mahalko is in there with Culver and Bettis.
They love the option down here.
He's going to throw on a straight back. Bettis, touchdown, Notre Dame.
Clever play. Lou pulled that one out of the hat. The fullback will run a check down. Receivers are releasing tight end, pushing everybody, and here comes a fullback out of the backfield. More often than not, you're in man-to-man coverage. A linebacker should have been locked on to that guy.
Hentrick with Sexton holding. Perfect. 17-7 with 17 seconds to go here in the first half.
A big emotional lift for Notre Dame going in. A young football team, maybe questioning their defensive abilities after last week and probably going through a tough week on the practice field by their coaches. Coming off 17-7. That 7 points is more than 7 points to them. It's an emotional lift for the second half.
Well, there's someone on his feet and cheering. There's Notre Dame, and he has two lovely daughters. One of them a student at Notre Dame. In fact, she's on the tennis team. And Dick Vitale wearing a proud father button over there.
Let me put a little hair on his head there, okay? Gets a little. Let me do that. See if that does it look better?
He looks much better. Yeah. I wonder when he gets up and chants, "Get a timeout, baby! Get a timeout, T.O., baby!" Don't anybody tell him that we're having fun with him. Dick doesn't like the attention, folks. He's a real shy guy. You know, he's sitting down there with 105,000. He's not alone in the booth watching the game. All right, it's 17-7. Michigan over the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Glad you're along with us. Looks like we're going to have another wild second half here between these two. The Irish trying to fight back.
he may not kick this one off. He may squib kick this one down there. If it doesn't go very far, it's still tough to return, and they only have 17 seconds to move the ball.
Yeah, what a lift that'd be for Michigan. Yeah, they don't want it in Howard's hands, do they?
No.
This is Wheatley. He's not too bad either if he can find some daylight.
Yeah, but he doesn't turn it loose. He's sort of hesitant running up through there.
Down at the 30-yard line. Is that the key for a return man, Dick?
I believe it is. And it's not always relative to his speed. I mean, the success of a return man. Does he turn the motor on and head upfield? The best kick returner I ever coached, guy ran about a 4.8, Alvin Heyman. Remember him?
Yes.
He was a great kick returner. But he couldn't run very fast, but he was courageous.
What's your feeling about Elvis Gerback?
I like him. I think he's so improved, and I think Cam Cameron, the quarterback coach here, has done a real good job with him. And his touchdown production is just spectacular here in the Big Ten.
Matt Elliott has moved over to center here. A very tight formation as Michigan will take a 10-point lead into the locker room. Penalty flags come flying. So that will not be perhaps not our last play here. And that puts Doug Skeen over at guard, doesn't it?
The legal procedure on the offense, only 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Well, maybe they're so big up there, they don't care. They don't replace their guards.
See, they only have 6 people on the line of scrimmage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So the wide receiver in that formation went and set up as a flanker instead of going up on the line. We've had a clean first half.
Very good. The 2 turnovers by Notre Dame really killed them.
It was a difference, all right.
The other thing I think I noticed personally, that Willie Clark gives him a little flash in that backfield.
Yeah, I think we'll see Willie Clark, number 32. So coming up, it's the team, Bo Schembechler. We'll return with halftime activities after this message and a word from our ABC station. Third quarter, and then it got away from him. The numbers, Dick Vermeil, from the first half.
Well, the big thing here is that Notre Dame is -2 in the turnovers. And look at also the rushing yards difference, 55 to 122. When you're running the ball better than your opponent and you're taking the ball away, normally you win the football game. Something's going to have to change in the second half.
Michigan winning the toss, electing to defer, so they will get the ball to start the second half. One of the things that should be pointed out about the Everett injury, when it occurred, it came on a touchdown run by Ricky Powers, and it seemed to take a little of the enthusiasm away from the Wolverines at that time. And Notre Dame came back down following that, scored their first touchdown, and it is 17-7. Gary Moeller will rework his offensive line here a little bit. But remember that Matt Elliott, the guard, played a lot of center for Michigan last year.
He had 8 starts at that position last year, Brent, so he does have experience, and Doug Skeen will be playing that left guard position. The big thing Notre Dame has to do right now is play real good defense against that run. Don't let them run the football on him.
Entrick with the ball on the tee. Howard and Wheatley are stacked back deep. And Entrick takes it out at the 2-yard line. Now remember, under the changed rules this year, they can either take a 5-yard penalty or take the ball up here at the 35-yard line and have a 1st and 10. That's one of the changes in the college rule book this season.
Now the big thing, the key I really think here for Moeller now is don't change what's been good for you. If you have to change, make the defense force you to make the change. But go ahead and keep running and throwing. My gosh, Gerback couldn't be any better throwing the football at 12 for 14 in that first half. Excellent. No interceptions, 101 yards, 86% complete. Don't change what you've been doing real well. Don't sit on that 10-point lead against Lou Holtz.
So Michigan will take the ball on their own 35-yard line here to start the second half. Ricky Powers checks in as the lone running back. 3 wide receivers. Ricky, the productive tailback behind this massive offensive line as they get squared away here without Steve Everett. Matt Elliott moves over, and he is the center. claws his way back to the line. Eric Jones, number 81, and he is quite a story, penetrating for the Fighting Irish. Here's a young man who suffered a lacerated spleen playing against Colorado in the Orange Bowl. Missed all of the spring practice sessions in South Bend, played a lot of basketball down there to maintain his quickness. He was also a good high school basketball player, and here he is back starting in that defensive line. 2nd and 10 for Michigan. Powers cuts back and nothing doing. Devon McDonald, who played well in the first half, was there.
Brent, you said cutback, nothing doing. You know why? Devon McDonald, 45, the outside linebacker, came down the line of scrimmage from the backside with very good discipline, under control, so if the ball carrier did come back there, he'd give him a headache.
3rd down and 8. Gerbeck with Howard, split far to his right. Steps up in the pocket, fires to Howard, complete for the Michigan first down at the Notre Dame 43-yard line.
The good protection by the 2 guards and center inside allowed the quarterback, Gerbeck, to stay up in the pocket. Now follow as he drops back. Now he sets pretty short. Now see, there's pressure around the outsides, but he's able to step up inside the pocket, throw the zone curl pattern back inside. Give the credit to the offensive line for providing that cushion.
An official's timeout. And a player is going to be helped off the field. Joe Kokozo, a guard, coming off, and so some of the problems starting to mount. He was going to stay on the field and play. Sean Miller checks into that offensive line, number 57. Get the fullback to the Notre Dame 41-yard line. Just what you would expect down in that pit area from these 2 teams.
You know, the strength of the Michigan's offensive line. We read about Greg Strepanek, the big All-American 325-pounder, but it's been 2 guards and center. Well, right now, the 1 guard and 1 center is not on the field. So they have 2 backups playing there. They lose a lot of punch.
Van Dyne off to Gerbeck's right. Howard is to his left. 2 tight ends, and Powers the lone running back. Off a fake to Powers, Gerbeck will drop it off now to the tight end. Diebold plows his way to the Notre Dame 37-yard line. It'll be short of the first down. DuBose, number 31, over there defensively. He's the ringleader here for the Irish. The shocker of the day, Central Michigan with the win.
Kokozo's back in at right guard now, Brent, number 68.
Michigan needs 3 yards.
It looks like Notre Dame is going to come after him. They are.
And it's Powers who is stopped short of the first.
Good defensive call that time by Gary Darnell. You'll see the pressure coming from both outside to the left, outside to the right. They'll come right down the line of scrimmage, outside in. Now here comes the heat from the outside on the left. You'll see the heat coming from the outside to the right. Good penetration inside. Demetrius DuBose, number 31, fills it up inside. No place to run.
Jimmy Flanagan, number 44, now one of the inside linebackers for the Irish.
When you're spread out like that with your offensive people, they've got more people inside than you do to block, so you're better off audibly and throw it.
Chris Stapleton with his first punt, and he takes it down into the end zone, and it comes out on the 20-yard line. It'll be Notre Dame's ball. They trail it 17-7, but you can feel things starting to turn a little bit in their favor. Notre Dame's ball, 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line, trailing it by 10. Jerome Bettis and Rodney Culver are the split backs here. Derek Brown shifts over to the right side. He'll lead Culver on this play.
Holding.
Penalty flag is down. The holding call made by the referee, Tom Quinn.
Yeah, Derek Brown, the big tight end at the right side that time. He pulled Martin Davis down. The referee had no choice to make the call. It's a natural tendency for a tight end as he reaches out to get on that linebacker, to get that right arm all the way outside the guy and grab a piece of jersey. And it's hard to hide that right hand.
Ray Griggs delivers the play from the Irish sideline. For Michigan fans, their experienced cornerback has returned here for the second half. Lance Dotton checks back onto the field, number 22.
Notre Dame defense has to feel pretty good about that last series. You know what I mean? And get their offense back on the field quickly.
And now it's the Michigan defense facing Rick Meyer and the Irish with a 1st and 20. Clint Johnson also on the field. And Bettis, the big fullback, hammering to that 13-yard line, and Martin Davis tackles in. Again, a reminder, this is just the start of a big day here on ABC Sports, because the World Gymnastics Championships are coming up tonight. That's at 8 Eastern time. And then after that, the second game of our doubleheader, Penn State and USC, due to kick it off at 9 Eastern time. So a lot still headed your way on ABC this afternoon. Over is hit by Davis.
Did that smart. See, he read the tight end's going to release to the inside on the right side of your screen. You'll see Brown release to the inside. Martin Davis reads it, sees it. Now he sees the draw going back, and he folds back in. See, the offensive tackle is supposed to turn out and pick him off from that draw play. They didn't do it. Nice hit, Martin.
Culver out as the wingback. Meyer rolling in the left. Throws now complete to the 49-yard line, and Tony Smith again. 34 yards and a Notre Dame first down.
They are up tight, man-to-man coverage in this one, and he bought time by rolling out. Now you'll see both receivers defended closely. They're going to be backed up with a safety. They know they have help. Dotton got turned around on that move and lost him. Here comes the safety, a step late. If you're going to play that tight, initially it's a good idea to chuck him on the line of scrimmage, then turn and run when you know you have a safety backing you up.
Tony Brooks is the tailback. He gets the carry, and nothing doing as Dwayne Ware comes up from his cornerback position.
You know, they ran that play very successfully last week, Brent. And if they come off that action with a play action pass, I really believe it would explode. I really do. They ran it so well last year. Nice play there by Dwayne Ware, filling on the weak side corner position. You know what I mean? Go over and fake that and come back outside with that thing.
Now 3 wide receivers and 2 running backs. Meyer brings the option. The hole was there, and he blasts his way to the Michigan 46.
Defensing the option run by Notre Dame is much tougher on the outside linebacker, Brent, because they don't run it very often. The linebackers can't just sit there and think option responsibilities all the time. They haven't run this option since the first quarter. So you start thinking about something else, and then boom, they come with it, and you break the responsibilities. Good offensive call.
Corwin Brown making the stop, and it's 3rd down and 5 for Notre Dame. Again, Meyer brings it down the line, and again he keeps it, but excellent defense by Michigan. Eric Anderson and Brian Townsend all over the runner.
They release the tight end on this to block outside. You'll see it here to the right side of your screen. He will release outside. He will release out there. Now he comes down the line of scrimmage. See him going to, but the breaks down coming inside out. See, no fake. The fake did not hold him long enough.
Here is a huge play. 4th and 2 for Notre Dame. Lou Holtz will go for it with Culver. One of his running backs behind the fullback.
I don't think I'd go for it, 4th and 2 in this situation. This early in the 3rd quarter, only 10 points down. He'll probably make it work. Oh!
I penalty flag comes down, and the play was whistled down. There was contact.
They gave him that one.
Dead ball. Contact by the defense.
Boy, that was a gift. You can't afford to do that one, especially when a team is starting to come back a little bit. You'll see to the left side of your screen the movement. There it is right there. He makes contact with the helmet. Boy, is that frustrating from a coaching standpoint. The ball is right there. You're lined up in a 4-point stance, and you're probably concentrating a little too much on the voice inflection of the quarterback.
The ball is put at the Michigan 38-yard line. Michigan leads Notre Dame by 10. The Irish moving again. Bettis blasts to the 35.
See, they're setting the option up again. They're blasting him up inside, then they're going to come off that and run the option with the pitch man. That time, if they'd have kept coming with it, there was a clean alley.
David Ritter checks in at strong safety, and Otis Williams was shaken up for Michigan.
I wonder who's calling the plays now.
2nd down and 7. Meyer off a fake with time, and Brown was tied up with Townsend, couldn't get free, and it's incomplete.
Brian Townsend is their best coverage outside linebacker. He had one start last year, played in all 11. This is his first start this year. Didn't start, but they do consider him their best outside linebacker from a pass coverage standpoint.
Now it's 3rd and 7. Lake Dawson and Tony Smith off to the left. Michigan fans will not forget the name Lake Dawson. He caught that ricochet off the Rockets' hands last year in the second half comeback. Meyer on the roll. Wide open receiver. Touchdown Notre Dame as Tony Smith breaks free.
You could see that coming. They've been rolling out in that formation, buying time, getting away from the rush.
Hendrick adds the extra point. Notre Dame pulls to within a field goal of Michigan. They have overcome one of the turnovers. We'll be right back. Let's take another look at that, Dick.
Well, you know, he bought time by rolling out here. His wingback in a position now as the quarterback gets out here. See, that pattern, the pattern takes time to develop. They're in tight man-to-man coverage. See, he has a lot of time to throw the ball. They go on down now and run a crossing pattern to the left side of your screen. See, now he breaks the corner. He beats the man-to-man coverage. He throws the ball exactly where he has to throw it, high into the outside away from the coverage.
Tony Smith with a 35-yard touchdown catch. And Rick Meyer's touchdown passing total for the day climbs to 2. And the Irish now have scored their last drive of the first half and their first drive of the second half. So things have definitely changed in their favor against that Michigan defense.
The momentum was changing. You talked about it. You can feel it right now. Notre Dame has to come out and do better what they did best in the first half. They ran the ball so well with a tight end in there or 2 tight ends in there. They ought to go back to that.
That's one way to take Desmond Howard out. Let Hendrick kick it out of the end zone, and it'll come out on the 20-yard line, and the heat will be on Elvis Gerback and the Michigan offense.
Well, you know, I wonder sometimes when you lose the leader of your offensive team, the real leader is Steve Everett, and he's not in there now, and sometimes that doesn't take a little psychological edge off your group of guys.
14 of 16 for 126 yards, and he has hit 8 different receivers.
And they averaged 5.0 rushing per snap in the first half, running the direct stuff.
Ricky Powers, the lone running back. Powers cutting back, got away from McDonald that time.
the move that the Notre Dame defensive staff made of moving Bryant Young, 97, from the defensive left tackle spot inside to the nose spot is really paying off now. He's piling people up inside there, not giving them the good running lane, and he's doing a real good job of it. And he's a real good athlete. See, he can move his feet, he can pursue when he has to, but he can pile him up at the point of attack as well.
Now on 2nd and 3 for Gerbeck. What do they use for the snap count in this no huddle?
In the no huddle, they use code words, Brent.
This is Powers. First down, Michigan.
There's the cutback hole. See, now the nose guard did a good job that time, but the backside defensive tackle didn't he didn't come down hard enough. That gave him the cutback. Take a look at that. Now watch the ball, watch the center. See, he'll get the block, he'll get the nose guard moving. Now on the backside, the defensive tackle got cut off, and that opened up that great big hole. 99 Troy Ridgely got buried there by Rob Dougherty, number 70. Ooh, look at that. He's a dedicated Michigan guy. Maybe Vitale took some of that hair, huh?
1st and 10 for Michigan. This is Powers. To the 43-yard line.
Don't ever forget the guy that brought you to the dance. Keep doing what you do real well. That's all there is to it.
And he has rushed for 91 yards, and for Michigan fans, the magic number for him is 100. When Ricky Powers rushes for 100 yards or better, Michigan is 6-0, and he is moving in that direction right now.
Notre Dame's got to come with some kind of a change-up defense and bring some people that was effective on the last drive.
Powers cuts back again and gets another Michigan first down on that run.
They have yet to run what they ran real well at one time as that delay counter, then come back out and throw to the tight end. That time the tight end was totally uncovered, and it would be easy for him to delay and come out there and tough on the linebacker to cover it.
Smith replaces Desmond Howard on this play, and Demetrius DeVos out of the game for the Irish. 1st and 10.
He's audibling again now. He changed what he had called.
Powers into the middle, and Eric Jones, 81, hit him first. It's hard for one man to bring Powers down. He shakes that first tackler frequently.
Well, as we noticed last year in his last game against Ohio State and his first game this year against Boston, Brent, he has the strong legs. He is capable of moving the stack as well, of making the good cuts. He'll get up on, see those thighs in there, really good thighs and calves and good power in there, and he keeps them moving.
DeVos returned after being lectured to on that far Notre Dame sideline and missing a play. 2nd down and 7 for Gerbeck. Here's Powers behind Leggett. He cut back that time, and there was nothing there. As big 97 Bryant Young brings him down.
Bryant did a real nice job on that. You'll see him here from the end zone shot. He kept his pads down. There he is, right of the goalpost there, number 97. See him working. They're getting him stretched. He maintains control. He cuts back. He throws. He sheds. He goes up under. Nice job.
Now it is 3rd and 6, and a big one for the Wolverines. They need to get inside the Notre Dame 45. Howard is the inside receiver. They're pointing on your screen. He's to Gerbeck's left. Gerbeck with protection over the middle. And DeVos hit Howard, but not before Desmond got the first down.
I'll tell you, Brent.
It's going to be close. They move it back on the spot. This one's going to be close. Moeller is furious. Big-time hitting in this game, and there was also big-time anger. Here come the chains. Gary Moeller was furious at the spot.
They got it.
But not by much.
I'll tell you, Brent, I've seen a lot of great receivers making a lot of money get hit like that and cough up the football. This kid really showed something when he hung on to that one.
But Bo doesn't want us to tell anybody that he's a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Okay.
Wants the voters to figure it out for themselves. 1st and 10. He gives those voters a lot of credit. Ball is at the Notre Dame 45-yard line.
Change up defense here.
There's Powers, short side cut off. Anthony Peterson cut him off first. Let me remind everybody that at the conclusion of the game, we're going to select a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team. The 21st year through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program, $1,000 will be donated to the General Scholarship Fund of each school.
You know, this big offensive line of Michigan can wear you down into that 4th quarter.
The aerial shots from the Spirit of Akron are brought to you by Goodyear, and we welcome everybody with 2:10 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Michigan 17, Notre Dame 14. The Irish with touchdowns in their last 2 possessions, now trying to stop this Michigan offense, and Gerbeck uses up a timeout here. We're going to take a break. Powers shaken up and being tended to on the Michigan sideline. We'll be right back.
With extra pep.
Well, Eric Jones, number 81, is going to crash into Ricky Powers' left shoulder here at the point of impact right there, and Powers has come off to the sideline. That was his 25th carry of the day for 100 yards, and he returns. Well, remember, Michigan has never lost a game in which he rushes for 100 yards, and his string continues. That's 6 straight, and I believe 7 overall. And he's a sophomore. 2nd down. Powers fumbles the ball and falls on it.
Whew. I tell you, sometimes when you've been banged up a little bit, you go back and you want to play, you may still be concentrating on what happened to you on that last snap and not concentrating on the rudiments of the game, the exchange mechanics.
Another 3rd down facing Michigan. A loss of 3 on that play. Powers will come off to the side. They need 12 yards. This time they have to get inside the Notre Dame 35-yard line. Gerbeck was lethal on 3rd down early in this game.
It looks like Notre Dame is going to come after him here with a blitz. Oh, they're backing out now. They backed out.
Good protection. Gerbeck throws underneath to Diebold. Diebold gets to the 35-yard line. He is just short of the 1st down.
Those crossing patterns like this take a lot of time. Tight end to the right side of your screen will cross. There's real good protection. They pick up the inside slant. He's buying the time. The tight end crosses the field. Now they're in a position to make a decision where they're going to go for it. I think they ought to go for it. They need the momentum. They got to get it back.
And Moeller will go for it. Powers returns. Leggett is the fullback. That gain left them in 4th and less than a yard. It is less than a full yard right now.
They're coming after him.
It's Powers. They knew he was there.
And he
tried to break away from Ridgely. Troy Ridgely, 99.
He made it.
Coming across. Hit him, and Powers kept going.
Great effort on his part. Let's see where they put it down. It looked like he made it to me. Oh.
It is very close.
Personally, I don't know why you try to run to the open side of the formation that way, because a linebacker can really come when there's no tight end on that side. They didn't get it.
So the ball goes over.
Here's what I'm talking about. Watch to the right side of your screen. The tight ends on this side. See the good penetration by 2 people up there. They got good penetration from the inside from Troy Ridgely, 99, and they just knocked him back. Boy, that was an inch away.
21 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The Irish have scored each of their last 2 possessions. They trailed Michigan by a field goal. 21 seconds to go. Culver dances to the 35-yard line where Tony Henderson tackles him.
You know, I keep waiting for that option. It's been very effective for the most part, especially that rollout type option.
Well, we'll return. More action between Notre Dame and Michigan after this message and a word from our ABC station. Well, we're back, and J.D. Carlson's field goal from 22 yards out put Michigan ahead back in the first quarter after an interception. Then an end around by Desmond Howard, and it was 10-0. And the route appeared to be on after Ricky Powers ran in from 16 yards out. But since that moment in the game, it has belonged to the Fighting Irish. Jerome Bettis, his first pass reception for a touchdown at Notre Dame. Then Tony Smith on a beautiful crossing pattern getting free, and Rick Meyer hit him with his second scoring pass of the day. Now Meyer and the Irish go back to work. Second and 10 and an incompleted pass.
He was uncovered in the slot there, and they tried to pop it to him.
And we get word now on Steve Everett. Let's go down to Cheryl Miller. Cheryl?
Brent, well, Steve Everett fractured his lower right jaw. He lost several teeth. And you know, this game has been very physical, and they're hoping that they don't lose any more of these fine Michigan players. Let's go back up to you.
Thank you very much, and we're glad to hear that it wasn't any kind of a serious neck injury. Nothing to put down a fractured jaw, but we get word that he's going to be okay, and his parents are with him over at the hospital. Inside of 35-yard line, Meyer keeps it, and he's out to the 37, and Mike Evans brings him down. Here are the numbers.
Well, Michigan didn't do very much in this third quarter. 14-78. Total plays 41-55. They've caught up a little bit in total offense now. 262, 296. Those two turnovers, though, still luring in the past. Time in possession, big favor of Michigan.
Back in punt formation, Craig Hintrich. Howard awaits this one.
Lousy punt.
And it's going to roll out of bounds. Took a Notre Dame roll, and it's out at the 25-yard line. So Michigan will come back up, and I get the feeling that you think that Michigan should be using a little bit different approach to the Notre Dame defense right now.
Well, I just feel they made a mistake on that short yardage play, Brent. They had a slot formation to the left, and that allows a linebacker to be standing there in space outside the tackle, and a fullback has to run from his position to block him. In running there, and he got great penetration on him. You run to the tight end, that linebacker is blocked by the tight end on the line of scrimmage.
Now, coming into this game, let's be fair, you didn't think the Notre Dame defense was much.
You have to say, when Lou Holtz goes over and coaches defense, he really does a heck of a job in 1 week's time. They've really improved since last week.
Now it's 1st and 10 for the Wolverines.
Broken play.
And Gerbeck finds an open receiver at the 30-yard line for 5 yards.
They had a mistake in the backfield.
That was Yale Van Dyne, who has stepped in for the injured Alexander here today.
Van Dyne was a walk-on originally. Here he is, earned the scholarship, getting his education, and playing good football as a starter.
Second down for the Wolverines. They need to get to the 35-yard line. Powers, first down,
running.
Out to the 41, and Rod Smith, the cornerback, brings him down.
Take a look at that in the end zone. Good draw blocking. See, you get the ball back deep. Now the linemen don't have to block everybody perfectly. See, now he sees that little gap. Now watch the leg action there. Up over the top. Very good running.
This is the time when all coaches like Dick Vermeil and Bo Schembechler miss being down there on the sideline. It is heated down there in that pit area right now.
My hands
First
are
and
sweating.
10. These two teams have been knocking helmets now for 3+ quarters. Powers dances. Jones brings him down.
You can't say enough about the improvement of Notre Dame's defense from 1 week to this week. And you have to give the credit to Gary Darnell, the defensive coordinator, and his outside linebacker coach, Coach Hayes, and Ron Cooper, the secondary coach, and the defensive tackle coach, Coach Bumpus. They've really done a good job with these guys. I think it's important when the head coach goes over there and makes a few points during the week, too, don't you?
It sure is.
Get your rear ends in gear, guys.
Second down, and Lou Holtz is not a tower coach. He's an in-your-face kind of guy at practice. And he got on the defense. Gerback with great time. He got to get on him again because Van Dyne's got a first down at the Notre Dame 44-yard line.
The big thing he did with there, he did a real nice job. Now, ladies and gentlemen, watch the quarterback do a nice job of faking it. Now watch, hide the ball on the hip, takes it off, extends the hand, good coaching. Then he fires the ball right down. All that faking helped freeze the linebackers just a second longer.
Gerback 18 of 20 for 159 yards.
18 of 20, let him throw. Anticipated change-up defense. It looks like they're going to come after him. Here they are.
He'll throw again. He had good time. It's Van Dyne. Van Dyne to the 35-yard line.
Audible. Gerback on the line of scrimmage, saw them going to run the blitz. The coverage really tightened up. He saw them coming. He checked to the quick out pattern. Good job. Good adjustment.
So with Dick Vermeil and Cheryl Miller, I'm Brent Musburger. Ann Arbor, Michigan. The Wolverines have lost 4 straight years to Notre Dame. They built a 17-point lead here for the 97th straight time. They've had a crowd in excess of 100,000 watching. The largest on-campus stadium in the country, jammed again, standing room only. And Gerback with a first down for Michigan at the Notre Dame 35-yard line. And it's Leggett, the fullback.
They start getting into this field goal range, this 4-down zone area, Brent. It's important they concentrate. I'm not going to take a sack if I throw it. And by gosh, I'm telling everybody, secure the football. We're in good field position. See, they're playing on the short end of the field right now. They want to keep it there.
Ricky Powers, the running back.
They turn the linebacker loose.
Powers got past Peterson and made his way to the 25-yard line.
They turned an inside linebacker loose, believe it or not, and he just ran through there, and his course was so tight. Look to the left of your screen now. You'll see a linebacker flash in there. They turned him loose right there. Here he comes, and he doesn't make the play. Anthony Peterson normally makes that play, number 49. He came in too tight an angle. Here's Peterson right here. Fine student at Notre Dame.
7 more yards for Powers, 30 carries, 118 yards now.
2 downs to make a first down. Don't get fancy. Yeah, that's even better. Now 2 tight ends.
Leggett stops, battles, twists, turns, and tries to put the ball forward for a first down. And again, it'll depend now on where the officials spot it. So about a foot. About a foot to go. It's 4th down.
Critical play. Big thing here is now they have 2 tight ends, so they have 2 solid fronts to attack offensively. A little tougher to defense this than the last short yardage situation. Timeout.
And that's the 2nd timeout used by Michigan here in the second half already. We're going to take a break and come back. 9 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
The American champion.
Ball should have been snapped before they had to use this timeout.
And Moeller didn't like that timeout at all. You know, when you're using a no-huddle attack, you shouldn't be caught short with time.
So 4th and a foot. Gerback to fire for it. They went for it all. A diving catch for a touchdown. Holy cow! believe this? For just one time, you've got to believe in the luck of the Wolverines.
Brett, I mean, you talk about a guts decision by the head coach. And Gerbach did a real good job of pumping a short pattern, caught the corner to bite it man-to-man, and turned up the sideline. Now watch him make the pump move. Then gets the corner to bait. Now what? Pump. All right, he steps up, he lets it go, and fortunately, as he recocked the arm, now he lays it to the right guy, the Heisman Trophy candidate, Desmond Howard. Excuse me, Bo. Holy mackerel.
There is no better feeling than for a college football team to beat the Fighting Irish in your home building. And I guess the second greatest feeling would have to be going down and beat them in South Bend, come to think about it. And Desmond Howard is having a fabulous day.
Now, and let me throw the opposite at you now. What happens if that goes incomplete? What kind of a reaction to the crowd? You'll hear 106,000 people boo. Right?
I've got to be honest. I couldn't believe it when he put it up. No. I just couldn't believe it. I didn't think I was looking at Michigan on 4th and 1 at the 25-yard line. They knew what they were doing, but for Michigan, thankfully for the Wolverines and their fans, they had Desmond Howard over there. Miller bobbles it, and now he'll be swarmed all over at the 10-yard line. The crowd's on fire again after that touchdown.
Take a look again from the end zone. Now you'll see the quarterback on the drawback. Everybody's playing run. He pumps. The corner bites. He goes back up to the other side. And what else that pump did, it froze the inside safety and prevented him from getting over there. Excellent execution of a play. But I'll tell you, I wouldn't have had the guts to make the call.
Right. Such a great catch down in the end zone, by the way.
They throw it to the right guy.
Oh, he is magic today, folks.
Here he is, 79 receptions, 16 touchdowns. 1 every 8th completion is a touchdown. Not bad production.
Incomplete. This is also the second game that Desmond Howard has turned in Michigan's direction. Now remember, the Wolverines were up here by 17 points. Notre Dame battled back. Made it 17-14, and Howard is talking to somebody on high, folks. Maybe he says, Bo, what'd you think of that football, kid? Huh?
I think he's talking to Cam Cameron, the quarterback receiver coach. Thanks for the opportunity.
No, you got it wrong. He said, Bo, I want your vote. Meyer on the roll, fires, and that was Smith, Tony Smith. But I mentioned 2 games that he has turned around. Last week, he scored 4 touchdowns at Boston College. And the biggest moment of the game was the second half kickoff. And Howard exploded through an opening and went the distance. A 93-yard return. Then he caught 3 touchdown passes. That gave him 4. A couple more scores here today. One on an end around. Pitches off the option to Brooks. Brooks forced back inside, and the penalty marker comes down. They may have got Brown there on hooking the defender.
I like the other option better that they ran so well last week, where they blocked the people taking the quarterback and have him the option of running or pitching. You know one thing for sure with Lou Holtz, he is going to run the option on you. I think the only quarterback that he's coached that never ran the option was Joe Namath. He's the only one, back in '76 at the Jets.
You know, lost in the euphoria is the fact that Lou and Notre Dame not yet out of this one. They're only down by 10. They got 8:41 to go.
No question.
That's about the same as last year, 24-14, and the Irish came back and got a pair. First down and 18 after the penalty. Quick pop, complete. Out to the Notre Dame 24-yard line. Using Rodney Culver as a receiver.
To beat Notre Dame, your outside linebackers really have to have a good game. They have to be able to cover the guy in a slot like that. They have to be able to take on that big tight end physically. They have to be able to defense the option. They have to be able to chuck him on the line of scrimmage and prevent him from getting down and release him properly on certain pass patterns. Tough job playing outside linebacker against Notre Dame.
They set the screen pass. And Bettis on that far side was out of bounds. Notre Dame first down at the 36-yard line.
Really a good job on that screen. The big thing that happened is the two offensive linemen that got out in front of him didn't stop and wait for him. They went ahead and got moving up there, so there was room between him and the blockers. He could jump over people up there.
This is one of the great rivalries in college football. Another wonderful chapter unfolding here in Ann Arbor. Notre Dame with all of its timeouts remaining. Now on 1st and 10, using Bettis again into the middle of that defense.
Good play by Steve Morrison.
Yeah, they got it going. Ball put down at the 39-yard line. If you're a Michigan fan, you wonder about all the years with Buff if he would have made a call like that. We're going to get an opportunity, and we'll hear from it. Meyer over the middle, throws to his big tight end out to the 49. Bo, I know you've been listening to us back in New York. Tell me, what was your heart like on that call?
Well, this is your chance to second guess right now, that 4th and 1 call.
That was a great call by Coach Moeller. Every time I called that, it was incomplete.
Brett?
And it almost was here too, Bo. I got Desmond stretch the full length of his body to pull that one in.
A normal college receiver would have dropped it or not made the play.
Meyer's got a man open, and he drops it on the far side. Tony Smith, who scored one touchdown for the Irish. Oh, he was running free. Took his eye off it, looked down at the open field, and couldn't get the handle.
They were in a double zone, and he got by their short cords, and here's Holtz. He doesn't like it either. He's going to take those headsets off. He's going to take his hat off. Now he's going to punch somebody. That was good execution by Meyer, though, Brent. Can't do it much better.
So they had the second down. Meyer again with time. Deflected and picked off by Dwayne Ware, but it was on the ground. Hold on.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's close. It was definitely trapped. Here it is, the ball to the right side of your screen. From up here initially, it looked really good. In our preview monitor, we could see that it was trapped. Here it is again, right in the middle of your screen. See, it bounces up into him.
On 3rd and 10, Meyer lobs one, deflected again and incomplete. There were two Notre Dame receivers there. I'm not sure that Smith was the intended target.
And I think that's a mistake on Rick's part, throwing the ball high and late down the middle like that into that zone. Really better concentration by the safety that time. It would have been intercepted.
So Notre Dame forced a punt here with 6.5 minutes to go. Remember, they used a fake punt off this formation last week. Hendrick was a high school quarterback and a good baseball player. But he'll boom this one, and it's the Magic Man. Fair catch at the 10-yard line. When you come back, Michigan's ball and a 10-point lead. 6.5 minutes to go. 24-14. If 6.5 minutes to go, and don't forget, Central Michigan picked off Michigan State. They're delighted about that here in Ann Arbor this afternoon, let me tell you. 24-14. Michigan with the ball in the lead. They'll see if they can do something about the clock right here. Leggett hammered a couple of times and still gets to the 15-yard line.
Take a look at that great big offensive line. Look at the line here. Whoop! That's 325 pounds coming off the ball right there, and he's going to turn him out and just keep pushing and shugging.
He's one of the top-rated offensive linemen in college football.
That's a couple axe handles across, isn't it?
You bet. You bet. Now it's second down. Here's Powers running for a Michigan first down.
I still can't get over that fourth down call. My hands are so...
Well, again, it was fourth and less than a yard at the 25. Michigan had burned its second timeout. Gerback pulled back, even had DeBose on his right side, got it off, and what's the catch by Desmond Howard?
You know, if it was a sideline call, a coach is more apt to make that sideline call when your quarterback is 20 for 22 like he is right now than if he was 8 for 22. It might have been an audible.
5:45 remaining. That's become a very important number as far as Michigan fans are concerned. 4 years of frustration at the hands of Lou Holtz and the Irish. Powers to the 23-yard line.
The slants charge. You know, I can't say enough about Bryant Young playing inside like that. He really is playing well in that nose guard position and defensive tackle position.
Now you think about Notre Dame's 2 intercepted passes last year down the stretch. Michael Stonebreaker in the end zone, and then Reggie Brooks, who has now been switched over to offense. He made the other interception. Michigan had a player who was pretty productive in that game too. John Fawn rushed for 200 yards for Gary Moeller in that game. Now John Vaughn playing for the New England Patriots. Stonebreaker's with the Bears. I think they learned that by watching Fidel Castro at the Pan Am game. This is Powers to the 27.
Eating up the clock, keeping the clock running. Now the no huddle. You're going to take as much time with that no huddle as you possibly. You might as well huddle. You know what Lou's doing right now? He's thinking is get the ball back. Here's what I'm coming with on first down. Here's what I'm coming with second down. Hey, we might even go for a punt block. I've got this in my mind right now.
Well, a reminder that coming up tonight, we've got the gymnastics championships at 8 Eastern time. And then we're going to have more football for you. USC and Penn State. That's at 9 Eastern time. So on third down, the delay with Powers bolts free. Michigan first down to the 39-yard line. They keep control of the clock.
Again, the draw play run when a defensive line is slanting, he's back there. He can see where the linemen are slanting to, see him moving around in there. He can find the crack. He gets a nice block right there by Matt Elliott, and then he works upfield. It gives him the opportunity to find it and pick his hole. Excellent call. Don't hurry up, guys.
Michigan gets a week off next week, and do they need it to get ready for Florida State in 2 weeks?
It looks like blitz. Nope.
Again to the 40.
See, the other thing now defensively, Brent, you're talking to your guys. You have somebody in the huddle saying, we've got to strip the football. We've got to rip it out of there. Someone will make the tackle. I'm going in. I'm going to rip the ball out of there.
Notre Dame turned the ball over twice in the first half And the Wolverines have not turned it over here today.
Played perfect. You know, and you don't have to be a genius to figure out if you're -2 in an even ball game, meaning you've turned it over 2 more times than your opponent, you're not going to win it.
Doughton intercepted a pass, and Eric Anderson recovered a fumble. And boy, go back to that fumble recovery now when Notre Dame had moved to the 20-yard line, and they appeared to be headed in for a touchdown, and instead Michigan took the ball and moved 80 yards for a touchdown.
And the bad thing from a coaching standpoint is, on that play, there was no contact. It was just a poorly executed exchange.
And a reminder that coming up, we're going to hear more from Bo and Roger on the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. Roger Twyvell and Bo Schembechler, they'll have all the scores and highlights, and Bo's done a good job in that studio so far. He'll be fun to hear from this year.
You bet. The one thing you know about Bo, he's going to call it as he sees it.
Yeah, I've never known him to back away. We'll take a break and come right back. We've got 2:54 left in Ann Arbor. Michigan started back in 1987. The Irish led all the way and won that one. Then in '88, Michigan was up 14-13 in the third, and again 17-16 in the fourth. And a young man by the name of Reggie Ho hit his 4th field goal in South Bend, Indiana that night. That young man is now a 3rd-year medical student at the University of Pennsylvania, and how well he remembers giving the Irish that win. Then in '89, they led all the way. And last year, Gary Moeller's first as a head coach, replacing Bo Schembechler. Lou Holtz was down 24-14 in the 3rd quarter when the Irish pulled off another miracle. But here they are running out of time. 2:54 to go. 3rd and 9. Michigan hopes to keep the chains moving. They'll try Ricky Powers. Powers on a cutback, driving for the first down. A great run to midfield. Michigan first down.
When you take a direct handoff from the I formation, slide outside like that, your tight end has to do a real good job. You get the positive reaction from Moeller and Coach Holt. He can't believe it.
Ricky Powers against this Notre Dame defense carried 35 times for 151 yards here today. So Elvis Gerback was nearly perfect at quarterback. Powers with 151 yards, and Desmond Howard, well, he provided all the whipped cream you'd want with 2 huge plays here this afternoon for the Wolverines.
Sometimes you got to be what you're thinking about as a head coach. You got this kind of a lead right now, Brent. Clock running out. You have a running back that's carried as many times as you just said. You start thinking about, he's tired. I better get somebody in there. It's a little fresher, and maybe he won't get that ball stripped.
And Notre Dame has been held to 78 yards rushing. And remember, they ran up and down that field pretty good against Bill Mallory and Indiana's defense last week in their home opener. Powers again. Slips free and makes his way to the Notre Dame 44.
But you see the knee action? Those feet, I mean, he's lifting them up. If anyone tries to grab his feet, they're out of the hold. He's moving. He sees a little daylight. That foot comes down and he makes the break.
Oh,
look at those. And look at, I think right now he's showing that he's a little bit tired. Hey, you got to double my scholarship if I carry the ball a couple more times. They like him, don't they?
I remember what Coach McKay said at USC when someone questions O.J. carrying the ball so much. He said, it's not heavy. It doesn't weigh much. She carries. We'll be right back. Overhead view of the Michigan team down there on the sideline. Gary Moeller, you know, has been 20 years at this school, 18 of them as an assistant for Bo. Last year, his first as head coach. Michigan went 9-3 and really missed playing for a national championship by 9 points. They were beaten by 4 points, and they lost 2 one-point games in the Big Ten. Our Bo, old team, and the man he named the head coach, Gary Moeller would have perhaps been playing for a national title against Washington on the Rose Bowl. Powers, 3 again. Another first down, and with this effort today, Michigan stamps itself clearly as the team to beat in the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, as you watch us play, just a deep toss to get the kick-out block by Leggett, number 40. See, everybody else is penetrating the inside gaps. They go outside. Good call. Moeller, you can't say enough good things about the job he's done here, taking over for basically a legend. You know, he's done an outstanding job.
One thing he did, he kept the legends helpers. He kept that coaching staff intact. There was continuity. That was the key to what transpired here at Michigan. Yes, we didn't have the great personality of Bo Schembechler, but everything else was still in place. The players he went out and recruited, his assistant coaches like Jerry Hanlon's been on the staff for 23 years.
Yep.
Alex Agassi worked for him for a number of years. He's still around the school, at least helping out when they need him. I know he's in retirement now, but this is a great story here at Michigan.
You know, and if he stays here long enough, he'll probably develop that same even temper that Bo had, always mad. You know.
And one thing from Matt Elliott and the rest of this senior class, this was the one they wanted. They did not want to be remembered as the senior class that had never beaten Notre Dame. And they're going to get the job done here today.
You know, they had a riot in town last night. I'm glad we're getting out of here. Maybe we can get the blimp to come down and take us out of here. Huh?
Job well done by the Michigan Wolverines. A 10-point win over Notre Dame, 24-14. And the Chevrolet most valuable players of this game are wide receiver Tony Smith from the Fighting Irish, who caught 5 for 121 yards and a touchdown, and the Magic Man, Desmond Howard, rushed once for 29 yards and a touchdown, 6 catches, one of them with a whole lot of magic in it, for 74 yards and another touchdown. And Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. Michigan ends the 4-game losing streak at the hands of Notre Dame. It's 24-14. We'll be coming right back in a moment.